Compensators, what are they and how do they work? Today in FTH223 we're going to go over a little bit of science on how they work and why you'd want a compensator over a muzzle brake. Thanks for joining me. Let's get into it. Okay, and we're back. So unfortunately we don't really have any examples of a compensator to use for this, so the best you're going to get is a drawing, and sorry about I'm no Michelangelo. So we'll start off by explaining what a muzzle brake is versus a compensator. A muzzle brake, if you look at the drawing, once again, please pardon me, but a muzzle brake like this will have multiple escape ports for the gases. So what this is going to do is going to stabilize it in multiple directions. Whereas a compensator, like you see on some modern day competition pistols or even tactical pistols, the gases are going to be vented more in one direction to aid in that muzzle rise, whereas the muzzle brake will help with the felt recoil. Another example of a compensator that we have, and this, as you can see, we have a rat tail in, firearm is clear. This is my personal rifle with what's called a linear compensator on it. And as you can see, all the gases are forced out from the front. Now, the difference between a linear compensator and a standard compensator is a linear compensator will give you a little bit more weight and a little bit more of the feel like a muzzle brake, but it's going to give you a little bit more felt recoil. I prefer running a linear muzzle brake on my standard guns and stuff. For any type of duty or training guns, I generally run them suppressed. So that's where I go with things like the Surefire muzzle brakes. So which one is right for you? It all comes down to shooter preference. I do have some comped pistols. Unfortunately, they're not here. Otherwise, I would have used them as examples. I do like them. Are they required? I really don't think so. I've shot the SIG 365X Macro, both comped and uncomped, and honestly, I bought the uncomped model. It's something that gets down to, I believe, just time with the firearm and familiarity and round count. So with that, we're going to get to the second part of the show, and you guys are going to learn a little bit more about tuning a SAR B6, or as I like to call it, the CZ75 we have at home. Okay, so we're back real quick to give our quick before we start to work through. We've got all of our pertinent parts out that we're going to go through, stone and polish. And I wonder if we could make a B6 one-hand rack. Let's find out. Okay, and we're back. So we've switched out our magazines. This is one that I modded personally by cutting off the last bit of the spring. So I had better luck with this one feeding and testing than with the stock mag. As you can see, good lock back, magazine's empty. And as always, we don't leave a test done once. We do it multiple times. Okay, so once again, we're loaded with snap caps. Okay, we have good ejection, good extraction. The weapon is safe. Now we get down to the feel. How does it feel? Safety feels a little bit more broken in. The actual feel of the trigger, it's not quite there yet. It does feel significantly smoother. It still has that long travel, both on the double and the single action's got a fair amount of take up still. However, trigger pull we have dropped. We've shown that with our trigger pull test. But as far as the feel goes, I believe that the sear breaks good, but there's a small hiccup somewhere that I am trying to figure out. So this is going to require another complete breakdown. I'm probably going to use some layout solution, mark my areas I want to check for my engagement, and go from there. Other than that, as it feels now, I am perfectly happy with how it feels. Tomorrow I will go and live fire test this weapon, but I'm completely confident in its ability. So with that, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week.